What the happened in Super Bowl XXXIV? 1999, the St. Louis Rams weren't expected to make much noise with their starting QB Trent Green going down in the preseason with a knee injury, but backup Kurt Warner, who was famously stocking shelves at a grocery store and playing in the Arena and European League before being picked up by the Rams, led the team on a 13-3 run and won the MVP. The Titans would be making their Super Bowl debut, led by Steve Air McNair, the team's longtime franchise QB, supported by the elite workhorse back Eddie George, who put up an astounding 1,700 all-purpose yards that year with 13 touchdowns. Starting from their own 30, Warner fired and his pass was tipped to his right tackle Fred Miller, who was brought down almost instantly for a loss of 1, before Falk took a carry next, working his way around the tackle and upfield for about 4 before being brought down, and on 3rd and long, Warner dropped back, finding Isaac Bruce behind the zone defender in the flat with a low throw that he went down to get for the first. From the eye, Warner play faked before surveying, getting hit down low with his feet planted and tossing it away incomplete. He surveyed again on 2nd down before launching for Hakeem on the corner, and the well-placed ball hit him in the hands, but the receiver dropped it. And on 3rd and 10, Warner stepped into a throw for Ricky Prohl in the flat, and the receiver caught it and propelled himself forward past the line to gain for another conversion. He found tight end Roland Williams next, hitting him on an out where he fell forward to set up 2nd and inches, where Robert Holcomb easily worked around traffic for the first and then some, diving down inside Tennessee's 20. Warner missed Falk on the swing pass on 1st down next. They handed it to him, and he got stonewalled, only gaining 1, and on 3rd and 9, Warner tried firing for Holt in the end zone as he took a huge hit on the safety blitz, but it fell incomplete, and they'd have to try and take the lead with a 35-yard field goal, but a bobbled hold led to Mike Horan retreating and getting dumped. The Titans would get it at their own 29. McNair started with a play fake to Eddie George before stepping up and tossing across the field to Jackie Harris, who took it forward for only a few before getting tackled. On 2nd, George took the carry and worked his way through traffic, falling forward to set up 3rd and 2, where McNair rolled to his right, slinging it to Dyson, who was spun around past the marker, and a neutral zone infraction on the Rams would give him the first anyways. McNair surveyed again before being flushed right out of the pocket and throwing a rocket towards Dyson on the sideline that fell incomplete before dropping a screen off to George, and the back turned up with tons of room in front of him as he advanced and bounced off 2 tackles, finally falling forward at St. Louis's 36. A delay of game penalty backed them up 5 yards before George took an inside handoff for a few yards. On 2nd and 13, McNair rolled right and fired for the sideline, but the DB was able to break it up, and on 3rd, McNair bought time in the pocket, but his throw was behind Derek Mason, falling incomplete, and Del Greco's kick to take the lead flew left of the upright, and the score would stay goose eggs halfway through the first quarter. Warner started the next drive, firing a heater over the middle to Holt on a dig. The receiver advanced upfield between 3 defenders, one of which brought him down near the 30, where Warner stepped through pressure and flipped it upfield to Falk, who got well past the 1st down marker before getting sandwiched inside the 15. He took a handoff around the right side next, picking up a few before being forced out of bounds. On 2nd, he took it up the gut, but only fell forward for 2, and on 3rd and 5, Warner threw a bad ball for Hakeem too far inside, and it was easily broken up, and Wilkins would have to try again, this time successfully putting up the first 3 points on the board for the Rams. McNair started the drive firing for Harris again, and the tight end caught it in stride, working past the marker for a quick 1st down before being pulled down. George took another carry next, plowing forward for 3 before they'd try him up the gut, but he got his ankles wrapped up in the backfield, losing 1, and on 3rd and 8, McNair fired over the middle, but there was some miscommunication between he and Mason, and they'd be forced to punt it away. Warner started their drive, lofting one deep for Isaac Bruce on the corner. The defender managed to make a great play, breaking it up. On 2nd, Warner fired to Falk on a wheel out of the backfield, and the back got moving, sprinting all the way inside Tennessee's 10 before getting pushed out. Warner bobbled the snap and had to dive on it next, actually falling forward for 1, before trying a quick shuffle pass to Hakeem, but it fell incomplete, and on 3rd and long, his pass got batted down at the line. Wilkins would try again for 3, this time knocking it right of the upright, and once again, the Rams would come up empty. Eddie George made a cut, finding the gap on 1st, getting his ankles snagged, but falling forward for 9 before he'd get it again, plowing up the middle for a 1st down. McNair rolled right next, setting his feet to throw, but then shooting through a gap in front of him and advancing past the marker, but took a big hit going down near midfield. Kevin Carter put a swim move on the right guard and bulldozed McNair for a sack next before they'd run play action and hit Harris in the flat, and the tight end lowered his shoulder, plowed forward for 8, and on 3rd and 8, McNair rolled right and fired for Mason on the sideline, who caught it and was tackled after picking up what they needed for a fresh set of downs. McNair rolled right again, firing for Sanders this time, but the receiver couldn't haul in the low ball. On 2nd, George got buried in the backfield, and 3rd and 11 turned into 3rd and 16 after a false start, where McNair loaded up and fired high for Dyson on the sideline, and they'd have to punt it away again after the incompletion. incompletion. From the 15, Warner flipped it to Bruce on the crosser, and the receiver reversed his momentum after the catch and lunged forward to get a quick first down. He hit Falk on a quick hitch next, and the back couldn't get much more as the defenders were on him, picking up 6, before the Titans jumped across before the next snap, giving them a new set of downs at the 38, where Falk spun around at the line, not getting much, but on second, Warner tossed a dart over the middle to Bruce in stride, and the receiver spun down past the line for the first down. Warner lofted a perfect throw for Holt next on the corner route for another first down inside the 35, before dumping it down to his fullback Holcomb on the next play for a minimal gain. On second, Warner stuck it on Holt in stride, and the receiver went down inside the 20, where Warner pump faked before tossing one to the back corner of the end zone, missing Holt, but an illegal contact penalty on the DB moved the Rams forward again. Warner tossed a duck over the middle to no one on first. On second, he hit Holt in stride going into the end zone up the seam. The receiver couldn't hold on as he went in, and on third down, Warner let go of a dangerous sidearm sling that was almost picked off, and Wilkins booted in the chip shot field goal this time, widening the lead to 6-0 with 4 minutes left in the half. McNair took a shot on first down up the seam for Harris, but it was broken up. On second, he let go of a head scratcher that flew right to the DB, who luckily dropped it, and on third down, McNair rolled right, but just got rid of it, and they'd go 3 and out, booting it back to the Rams with 3.5 minutes left. They started with a handoff up the gut to Falk, who galloped through an open hole and cut back inside for 5, but a hold set the whole thing up, so they'd go back to 1st and 20, where Warner tossed it to him on a quick out, and where Falk went out after 7. On second, Warner tried ripping it to Holt, but it was tipped by the nickel back incomplete, and on 3rd and 13, sorry guys, the footage is messed up, but Warner hit Holt on the sideline and got the long conversion to keep it going. He tried stepping up next, but got dumped as he let go of the ball. On second, Warner stepped through the pressure and hit Holt underneath the coverage, and the receiver split defenders going down right past the line for another first. Warner sidearmed another one to Prohl, who was double covered, and he took some brutal hits high and low as it fell incomplete. But on second, Warner found Bruce well past the line to gain, hitting his inside shoulder, and they got into Titans territory with little over a minute left. Warner hitched and threw again, this time for Akeem, who extended and caught it going out of bounds. He hitched again, ready to throw, but this time he was grabbed from behind and wrangled down by Kenny Holmes, but a holding call on the defense bailed them out again, and they'd take the next snap inside the Titans 20, where Warner fired high and over the head of Prohl, incomplete in the end zone. A holding call on the offense this time would scoot them back. Next try, Warner flipped it out to Holt on a slant, and the receiver caught the ball, going down instantly, and next play, Warner rolled right before trying to go vertical, but Javon Curse ripped him down by the horse collar and face mask at the same time, once again moving the Rams forward, giving them another first. Warner hung in and threw a duck while taking a huge hit that Hakeem smartly dropped on first down. On second, he got slammed from his blind side as he released incomplete again, and on third down, Warner lofted a high ball for Prohl in the back of the end zone, but it was barely off, and it fell incomplete as well, and Wilkins would cap off the half, banging another kick through, making it 9-0, and Tennessee knelt on it, taking it to halftime. McNair started off the half firing to his tight end, Wycheck, who spun around for a first down pickup, before giving it to Eddie George to press up the middle for a pickup of 3. On second, they faked it to him, and McNair slung it to Harris again, who went out of bounds after picking up another first. George took a misdirection handoff next, getting around the edge and going out past the marker for another quick first down, before he'd fall forward on the dive for 2 next. On second, McNair checked it to him. The back was tackled by 2 defenders, setting up 3rd and 5, where McNair tried him again in the flat. George dropped it, and Del Greco's kick got blocked and recovered by the Rams, who'd started their own 32. Falk took a dive up the middle for 4 on first down. On second, they tried again with little success, and on third, Warner stepped through the pressure and flipped it to Falk, who worked past the first down marker and got popped after picking it up. Warner stood in next, gunning it deep to Bruce between 3 zones, and he managed to fall forward inside the 30, where Warner heaved it to his tight end, Ernie Conwell, who was sandwiched, and Blaine Bishop injured himself on the tackle attempt and had to be carted off the field. Warner kept his eyes downfield, but the pass was batted on first. On second, they tossed it out to Falk, who was met at the line, getting almost nothing on the edge, but on 3rd and 10, Warner threaded the needle to Holt, leading him into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game, stretching the lead to 16-0 with Wilkins' extra point. George started the drive right with a nice 5-yard run through the middle on first, before they'd give it to him again, and he'd cut back to the left, finding some room, splitting defenders, and diving well past the line to gain near midfield. McNair checked it to his tight end in the flat, and Wycheck drove forward with a guy riding piggyback for 3 before George plowed forward again on second down, setting up 3rd and 3, where McNair fired out for Wycheck again, this time for a first down conversion. George fell forward for 2 on the dive next, before McNair hit Wycheck again, and the tight end fell forward just shy of the sticks, and on 3rd and short, McNair took a sneak through the A-gap for another first down. George plowed up the middle again, this time for 4, before McNair faked it to him, looking like he'd throw again, and then darting up up the middle for a huge gain as he'd get inside the 10 before running over the defender, falling at the 3, where George would take the first down carry at the goal line, and on the following play, he'd follow the pulling blockers into the end zone for a touchdown, and on the 2-point try, McNair set and threw too far inside for Wycheck to get his hands on, and the score would stay 16-6 in the last seconds of the third quarter. The Rams tried Falk to the outside on first down, but he was tripped up in the backfield to end the quarter. On second down, Warner sprinted right before chucking it out of bounds, and 3rd and 11 became 3rd and 16 for the Rams as Orlando Pace jumped early, and Warner just hucked it deep for Holt down the sideline, but barely overthrew him. The Rams would have to punt it back to the heating up Titans offense to start the fourth quarter. George followed the fullback through the hole on first, barreling forward for 6 before they tried again, this time losing yardage, and on 3rd and 6, McNair ripped it to Dyson, knowing he had a free play from the offsides defender. It fell incomplete, but they'd still get a new set of downs, where George took an outside handoff and got to the perimeter, picking up 6 before going down. On 2nd and 4, he powered forward again, this time for 3, and on 3rd, with his back turned, he chopped the feet to push forward, but he was inches shy of the line to gain, and on 4th down, McNair took another sneak, and with a second effort, they picked up the first. Next play, they faked it to George, and McNair tossed it out to Harris again. The tight end was double tackled in the flat after picking up 5, and on 2nd, George lowered his shoulder and delivered some punishment to pick up the first down in Rams territory. McNair set his feet and fired for Bird, who sat all alone on a deep curl, and he was thrown forward inside the 25, where McNair rolled right before throwing a screen back left over the defender to Harris, who got rolling behind blockers, stumbling forward and finally getting pushed out of bounds at the 3-yard line, where George got them halfway there on first, and the back bounced the power run outside on second, meeting a defender at the goal line and churning the legs to push in for the score, but on further review, his knee was actually down before the ball crossed, but a hurry-up PAT didn't allow for a review, cutting into St. Louis's lead 16-13 halfway through the fourth quarter. The Rams started with a toss to Falk, and the back took it up the middle, diving forward for 2 before Warner had another pass batted down at the line, and on 3rd and 8, Warner tried throwing to the open Bruce, but had a guy draped on him, and it fell incomplete as they'd go 3 and out and have to boot it back to Tennessee, who were seemingly on fire at this point. Pick took a good bounce for the Titans, setting them up near midfield, where McNair juked 2 guys out of their shoes and was ankle tackled after picking up a quick first down in Rams territory. George would eat some more as he got skinny through the gap and dove forward for 7 before he'd take another carry, this time only falling forward for 1, and on 3rd down, McNair set his feet and fired to Harris past the line to gain, but the tight end fumbled it, and luckily Bird was in the area to fall forward on first down. George plowed forward again, this time for 3, before McNair would try Bird in the flat, getting instantly tackled right at the line of scrimmage, and on 3rd and long, McNair tossed it out of bounds in Wycheck's direction, and Del Greco would boot in the tying score right down the middle, and the Rams would get it back just outside the 2-minute warning. Warner wanted it all on first down, hitting his drop and launching downfield, actually underthrowing Bruce, who located the ball as the defender tripped, and the speedster juked the safety and hauled his way down the field all the way in for a 73-yard touchdown. With an extra point by Wilkins, they were back on top inside the 2-minute warning by 7. Starting pinned deep by a penalty, McNair fired over the middle to Mason, who got 9 on first. McNair quickly hit Wycheck next, and the tight end stumbled out past the marker to stop the clock. He hitched and couldn't hook up with Dyson on the sideline next. On 2nd, he rolled left before showcasing the athleticism again, weaving between defenders and picking up a first down before going down in bounds with a face mask on the tackle, stopping the clock and moving them forward into Rams territory. With the flag coming out, McNair delivered to Wycheck again, and while the tight end spun down shy of the marker, a Ram jumped off sides, moving them forward, stopping the clock again. Working to his right, McNair turned into a runner again, swimming over the defender and scrambling upfield where he was cut down out of bounds after picking up 7. With 50 seconds left, he found Dyson again, this time for a quick conversion where they'd clock the ball after, and with 30 seconds left, McNair ripped one over the middle, almost picked off, but an offsides on the defense moved them inside the 30, where McNair tried George in the flat. The back wasn't looking for the ball and it bounced off his elbow. With 22 seconds left on the clock, McNair bought some time in the pocket before breaking 2 tackles miraculously in the backfield and firing a bullet on the run to Dyson to get them down to the 10 with time for one more play on the clock. McNair caught the snap and fired instantly for Dyson on the slant, but Mike Jones wrapped him up and prevented the receiver from stretching across the plane for the last second score. And the Rams defense would come up with one of the most heart-palpitating wins in NFL history, denying the Titans their first Super Bowl and claiming their own. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and click the thumbs up on the video if you liked it. Also, I'd appreciate if you guys could join my Patreon for early access to new videos, and I have exclusive game reactions that I can't post here on YouTube, like my reaction to this year's Super Bowl. Anyways guys, I'm going back in time and making a what the f happened video for every past Super Bowl, and I have a new tier list video ranking every starting quarterback going into 2025, so check it out. Peace!